Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hopefully you guys all had a great weekend. Let me go and set up this room real quick and then we can get started with our session for the day. Let's see. Today's Monday, February 7th. Brand new week for us over here. Let me get this all set up right here. Looks good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. I think we should be good to go. Cool. All right, cool. Looks like people are making their way in. All right, cool. Morning, everybody. Good morning. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. Today's Monday, February 7th. Ready to kick off this trading week. Hopefully, the market's pretty smooth. As it was kind of last week. Let me check to see if there's any news today. So, right over here. Not really much news. There's news at noon today. It's consumer credit. But other than that, kind of not really much going on this week. Aside from Thursday we have inflation news. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We have prelim UM consumer sentiment on Friday, but not much tomorrow, not much today, and not much on Wednesday aside from Fed member Bowman speaking. So we'll see. But anyways, let's get back to these charts right here. Everybody to the room. Looks like we're good. Hey, Christopher, morning. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Miles. Morning, everybody. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to mark up the high-low zones here on the 1 minute. I just want to see if there's any areas of liquidity that we should probably be looking out for on, market open here. Oops. So it looks like price is currently touching an area right there. And one thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that Monday is very risky. So you guys want to be a bit careful possibly if, especially on the breakout or like any early trades. Looks like we do have a lot of liquidity on the bottom side. So I do think price is going to be dropping today. Or if it does drop, it's going to drop pretty hard, right? So we have a ton of liquidity right here on the bottom side. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Price did hit this, or it's pushing around this high low. So we'll see how that pushes. But we'll see what goes on from over here. Hey, Rashida, morning. Morning, Delmas. Morning, Rick. Morning, Mauricio. Morning, Steven. Right, Eric. Weekend's catching up to me. Morning, Matt. Morning, everybody. Yeah, I got some Theraflu over here. It's been cold here in California past couple of days. Weather's so weird. It gets really warm, it gets really cold. It's not consistent at all. Morning, Fahad. Morning, Essa. Morning, Matt. All right, guys. So market is opening in about 3 minutes. Here's the high-low sessions, the high-low areas right here. You guys can see there's a lot of liquidity on the bottom side, some liquidity on the top, but definitely a lot on the bottom side. I'm just mark it over here on the clean chart as well. I just want to make sure that we have everything kind of marked up. 630. 7. I think these times over here kind of marked up, so we have something to look out for. I'm also going to draw the high lows right here on the clean chart as well. So we got one right there, one right there, one right there, One right there. There's a bunch of liquidity right here on the bottom side. All right, market's going to open in about 2 minutes. So in about a few, I'm going to take a look at retail sentiment, see where fundamentals are sitting. But yeah, for the most part, there we go. Clean this up. This is going to be the clean chart. So not really much is going to be drawn on here. Going back over here to the 1 minute, not much there. So let's take a look at retail sentiment. It's currently 50% short, so there's no bias right now. Looking at fundamentals, currently the futures data is 15 points in the green, not very strong. Looking at all of the indexes right now, they're currently somewhat bullish. They're not very strong though, so this might be coming right back down after. But yeah, for the most part, the Dow's up, S&P's up, Nasdaq's up. This can come right back down on market open. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, retail sentiment is indecisive. So there's not really going to be much of a use for that today. Looking over here at the 1 minute, price is pretty much indecisive as well. It's bouncing in between the pivots. The trend meter is red. Looking at the 3 minute, price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green, but it is bouncing in between as well. As with the 5 minute, same situation over here. Price is bouncing around the pivots, trend meter is green. Looking on the 10 minute, this over here is also going to be indecisive to some extent. So as you guys can see, it's not really there isn't really much of a bias today. Retail sentiment, there's no bias. Looking over here at the technicals, no bias either. So it's going to be hard to really tell where price is likely to be going, which is normal for a Monday because market's been closed all weekend. When the market does open, we'll probably see it push to the upside and choose its direction, or push to the downside and choose its direction. So just be a bit careful today until direction's been set. Once it's been set, we can start looking for trades in that direction. But for the most part right now, market is now open. You can see price is kind of pushing up, then it came right back down. Big spike in both directions right here. But we'll see if this ends up continuing to push to the upside or continues to push to the downside. So Steven, I know you're looking for the breakout over here. In order for you to have a breakout entry, you're going to be looking for a strong green candle, meaning a green candle with little to no wick on the top side. Reason for that is because momentum here is bullish. So if this candle here does close with a strong green candle, this may be a breakout. However, it's not one that I'm going to take today because today's Monday, just like I mentioned, it's risky. You might get a fake out to the top side and it might come right back down. So I'm not looking to take that breakout. But if it does close as a strong green candle, which it hasn't, this could technically be the breakout entry. Hey, Maria, morning, Rain, morning, Jason, morning, everyone. Can you say still Kentucky weather? I know, right? Morning, Al, morning, Bretta, morning, everybody. All right, guys. So no breakout off that right there. Steven, you're looking for a strong green candle or you're looking for a momentum switch to the downside. Right here, it's momentum is swinging to the downside. This might be the breakout right here. But as you can see, price is really erratic, right? Price came up, spiked up, came right back down. Huge range right here. So price has basically moved about 700 pips or more within the last minute or so. So this is why you guys want to be careful. Still no bias here. It did hit liquidity around this area, but it's okay. If it's liquidity, we're just going to keep moving these liquidity areas lower because it's pretty much just knocking out liquidity and bouncing around. This right here looks like it could possibly be the breakout. I'm not going to take it, guys. Just even if I do see the entry here, I'm going to mark it up, but I'm not going to be taking it. So just FYI, because I do find it to be a bit risky. So this right here, you see, I'm going to try to measure this wick right here real quick. Because this wick is kind of big, but it's also not the hugest wick there. It's about 10 pips. So what I would do is I'd measure this about 9 pips and then measure the candle body. Candle body right here is about 470 pips. So I would consider this candle right here to be somewhat strong. This would technically possibly be the breakout. This is why the breakout is kind of hard for people to learn because it's very subjective. What I see as a strong red candle or what other people do could be different. Like for example, here, there's still a wick on the top side. there's still a wick on the bottom side. It's not a very strong candle, but some might consider this a strong red candle, some might not. But either way, even if it was considered a strong red candle, I wouldn't have taken this trade here because the market's just too risky right now. You can see that it's very erratic. It's bouncing back and forth. Last thing you want to do is enter a trade and price spikes up, hits stop loss, and then comes right back down, right? Because that's probably what might happen in some instances like this, which you guys have seen before. Price will spike up real quick, like barely trigger the stop loss, and then it'll come right back down, right? So while this may be possibly the breakout, I'm not taking it or just marking it up just to see if it does play out. I know, Steven, this is the main trade that you look for every morning. I mean, if you want to take it at your own risk. I do recommend taking it with a smaller lot size because, it's not a smooth move at all. So going over here to the fundamentals, it's currently down 11 points. The bias isn't even that strong. It's only down 11 points right now. So we'll see what happens here. Morning, Jason. Morning, everybody. Yeah, Matt Huey said Dow 30 is leaning towards the green, but not by much. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a sell today, though, because just looking at how it's been moving, well, pre-market was kind of down. Now it's kind of up, but it's not really very deep in that direction. But something's just telling me that price is going to drop lower because there was a lot of areas of liquidity. So there's an area of liquidity right here that price hit. That's kind of why it's dumping, sort of. And then again down here. So full TP right there off the breakout. I'm not going to count that as a trade, but you guys can see my analysis right there played out, right? So Steven, I'm not sure. Did you take that trade, Steven? I know you're here. You asked about the breakout earlier. So not sure if you caught that. But if you did take the breakout, that was a breakout. And if you guys need to go back and listen to my analysis for that there, you can see it. Basically, what we're looking for is we're looking to trade in the direction of momentum. We're looking for a strong candle in that direction. And then we pretty much ride the wave as it pushes that way. Nice. So Christopher said, took it, stopped in profit by moving stop in profit too quickly. It's fine, Christopher. At least you made some profit. Profit's profit, especially in a situation like this where it's like you're not really sure where price is going to go. Nice, Jason, you took it. So great work, guys, to whoever caught it. As you guys can see, a lot of people here still take trades, even though I consider them risky. And I'm more of a conservative trader. So I wouldn't, even if I saw this here, I wouldn't have taken it because there's too much risk to put out at the beginning of the session. Nice. Matt caught it for a quick 100 pips. Solid. Charles said 1 minute V3 right here. Yeah, so let me just take this stuff off real quick because I'm not taking that trade right there. There is a 1 minute V3 right here. Like Charles said, it's too late for me to enter, but we'll see if it plays out. So I'm not in this position right here, but this would technically be a version 3 variation. One thing that I've been looking into, guys, a lot lately is that we should probably use the bias when taking these V3s. I know it's been working a lot where you're taking both directions, but I think I'm going to start taking it with a bias now. So let me see the fundamentals real quick. There's no bias here off the fundamentals. There's no bias here off the retail. Well, I mean, there's sort of a bias here. It's 52% long, but it's not very strong. Nice. Steven says goal was reached. All right, Steven, we'll see you tomorrow. Nice profit off that breakout. Yeah, Matt said after that drop, not sure if I'd take that. Yeah, Maddie said bias is crucial. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be taking the V3s in both directions anymore, guys. I'm going to be looking for a bias. So for example, right here, I wouldn't have taken this because we have a sell bias for the technicals. Reason for that is because price is trending to the downside. I think this is something that you guys should take into consideration too. So you guys need to Kyle said give Steven the horns. We'll get those horns on the next one. But yeah, Steven, nice work off that breakout there. But yeah, guys, as I was just mentioning, me, Maddie, a couple other people in the group, we've basically been we have like a think tank here in K2 where we're kind of like putting together what works and what doesn't. I know lately it's been working where you can trade in both directions, but I think as market starts to smoothen out and direction starts to be set, we should definitely start setting some criteria with regard to which direction we're trading. So for me personally, I'm not going to be taking any variations or any high lows in directions other than the bias. My bias is still going to stay the same as it's been for every other trade that we've taken. We're going to look at retail sentiment here first. If this doesn't really apply very much, obviously fundamentals are next. If this doesn't really apply like today both the fundamentals and retail sentiment don't really have any effect because it's so indecisive. So the next thing that we'll be looking at would be the trend. So in order to determine what the trend is, we're going to look at the pivots, like where price is with regard to pivots, and we're also going to look at the trend meter. So right here, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red. So the trend right now is currently bearish for a sell. Same with the 3-minute over here. It's not a very strong trend, but price is still below the, and I'm just going to turn on all the pivots here to help with really determining what the trend looks like, because it's been very indecisive a lot lately. So looking at the 3-minute, price is below the pivots, trend meter is blue, indicating that the trend is indecisive, but it's still below the pivots here. So the trend here is for a sell. On the 1-minute, it's also a sell on the 3-minute, it's also a sell on the 5-minute. And here on the 10-minute as well. 10-minute is more indecisive, but for the most part on the shorter time frames, 1-minute is biases for a sell, 3-minute biases for a sell, and 5-minute biases also for a sell here. However, that doesn't mean that this won't hit. This might still hit TP, but we would consider this very risky. If this closes, it didn't close. I was waiting for it to close green, so we could possibly take it for a sell. It didn't, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to wait. So let's see what we're going over here. Let's see, Majui's asking, why is 5-minute green if it's below the pivots? So these two different indicators, they identify different ways of identifying the trend, Majui. These aren't the same indicator. The pivots and the trend meter are totally different. So as you can see, it's now red. You can see right here, it's changing. It went from green to blue to red. If it drops lower, this is probably gonna turn red. You can see right there now, the trend meter is now red. So these are both using different types of analysis to identify the trend. This is why we're using two separate trend indicators, because this will give you the short-term trend and the trend meter below will give you more of a long-term trend. So the trend meter below is going to be a bit stronger, but if you tie them both together, they'll help you with identifying, okay, this trend is probably going to be very strong. Like for example, here, price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green. This is probably a strong trend to the upside. Vice versa, price is below the pivots and the trend meter is red. You tie those together and it's a strong trend to the downside. So they're two different indicators, and they both use different parameters to identify the trend. So let's see. Maddie said 5-minute running. Is there an entry here at the 5-minute, Maddie? I don't see one here for the variation or anything like that. A V3. Are you in the buy, Maddie? I'm assuming you're in the buy right here then, right? Because I'm not, yeah, got you, okay. Yeah, but this would still go against the trend right here. That's like what we were just, okay, gotcha, yeah. So for this right here, Maddie did identify this as a 5-minute buy. However, I'm still gonna hold off and I'm gonna use the bias for this. Yeah. So guys, we're gonna go back and use bias. I know right here there's a V3. That's probably going to be one of the requirements that we start to use again. As I mentioned before, guys, the strategies that I've set out are they're not fully done. So if you guys are in the session, or if you guys are in the premium group, I put all the strategies right here. So if you guys look at the premium group, basically I put all of the strategies that we used during the live here, the high-low scalp, the intraday momentum strategy, the 1 minute pivot scalp, triple confluence. You can see right here for all the variations, they're all unfinished and in progress because we're still trying to figure out what are the best requirements to use. These are like bare basic requirements. Another requirement that we're probably going to include is to confirm the bias, whether it be from the retail sentiment, the fundamentals, or the technicals, because it's going to help out a lot with pinpointing, these perfect trades, because we don't want to be taking risky trades here. As you can see right here, these are all considered very risky trades because if you were to take the buy here, you're going to be trading against the trend. The trend right now is for a sell, and if you're trading against the trend, you're going to be counter trend trading, which is very risky. So yeah, I'm going to take this off right here so like people don't think that we're in that trade, because we're not in these trades right here. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for a variation for a sell. So I'll put the requirements here again for the 5 minute for people who aren't really familiar with it yet. We've only been testing this strategy for a couple months now, or not even a couple months, a couple weeks, maybe almost 1 month. Hopefully by the end of, let's say March or April, we can put down like set in stone requirements. And this is exactly why you guys wouldn't want to enter a trade like this, because you can see that price is now dropping below. Going over here to the fundamentals. Fundamentals are still not very strong, but they are bearish. They're down 54 points. Obviously, we want them to be below 100 points, but they're not necessarily there right now. Yeah, Talanji said, wow, we normally would have taken that. Exactly, Talanji. See, this is why we've got to be a bit smarter with the trades here. I feel like prior we would be too because the trade was hitting so often. And the thing with that is that the market was very volatile. The market's not so volatile right now. Like measuring each candle here, it's not really moving that much. 270 pips. Before they were moving like 1,000 pips. So you could easily enter a trade, get out really quickly. But right now, the market is just not moving as quickly as it has been the past couple of weeks. It's kind of moving back down to, yeah, exactly. Like Christopher said, volume is super low. So this is why you got to be very careful, because you could get caught in a lot of these fake outs here if you trade when there's very low volume. If volume continues to be low like this, we might have to just focus on the 1 minute for a bit until, obviously, volatility picks up too high and we have to go on the higher time frames again. But it's fine with me. I don't mind trading on the 1 minute. I'll keep marking up these high lows here. See, opening price is going to be, opening candle is going to be right there. I'll put a blue line at the opening price, because generally you guys will see price come down to this area, or come back up to this area at some point in the future. So let me just re-update a lot of these areas of liquidity right here. Oh, there's one right there. I believe there's one right here as well. All right, solid. And the opening price can be right there. All right, so as you guys can see from the clean chart over here, there's a lot of liquidity on the bottom side. So if price comes down and hits this area of liquidity, it's probably going to drop pretty heavy below, around those areas. One thing that we could possibly be looking for is a high-low entry, possibly any other variation. So I'll put some of the strategies over here again so that you guys can follow that. Triple confluence, variation V1. It's hitting liquidity right there. So we're not going to get a triple confluence. Variation V2. And the V3 as well. Just keep in mind, guys, that we're going to be trading with a bias. So even if we see a random variation, we're not going to take it, because we're looking for some sort of bias in the market. Currently right now, it's a sell bias. So we're not really looking for any buys. Also, it hit liquidity right there. So price might drop way down here. But as I mentioned, I'm not looking to take any risky trades, so I want to be a bit careful. I'm not going to just hop into a sell just because it broke below here, even though I do think it's going to drop lower, and it's dropping lower right there, as you guys can see. So if you guys remember, I drew this area of liquidity right here. I said if price hits this area, it's probably going to drop down to this area of liquidity right here. It might not be a smooth drop, but if it does, it'll spike right below it. It's pretty much what I'm anticipating. However, this is all speculation. I don't like taking trades just because. I only take trades if I'm confident that there's an entry right there. So if I see a variation for a sell at this point, or a triple confluence, or anything really, then I'll probably hop into a sell. But currently right now, there's nothing for us to take at the moment. But looking at everything here, we definitely have a sell bias. So price is below the pivots here on the 1 minute. Trend meters red. Price is below the pivots here on the 3 minute. Trend meters red. Same with the 5 minute, and same with the 10 minute over here. Price is below the pivots. However, the trend meter below is, let me adjust this. It's not even correct. There we go. It's actually red. So looking over here at the 10 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and 1 minute, they're all indicating a sell bias. So it looks like price is probably going to continue dropping for a while. Nothing here off any snipes. Let me see if there's any zones around this area. Huge zone right there. There. And right there. So this would be a snipe, but I mean, we'd be looking for snipes on here, but there's no snipes available at the moment. Going back to the 1 minute. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna adjust these high lows so we can look for a possible entry here. There's actually a variation V1 right here, but not one that I would take, because as I mentioned before, guys, we're looking for trades in the direction of the bias. Thanks, Fahad. Fahad said stocks are mostly red right now. We have 53% long on retail sentiment. So price might push up right here to lure in some more buyers, and then it'll just come right back down. That's what's probably and likely to happen. So I'm going to go and just delete all this stuff right here. We'll be focused on looking for a possible drop as it comes back down. I do think it's going to come back down. It's just going to be a matter of time. All right, so fundamentals are currently 56 points in the red. Looking over here at the stock indexes, basically the Dow's down 43 points, S&P's down is actually up. Dow's down 43 points, S&P's up 7 points, Nasdaq's up 105 points. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 53% long, so we're definitely looking for sells today. It's not very strong, but the bias is still indicating that retail traders are on the long side, which is okay. Because it lines up with the fundamentals here for a sell, and the technicals over here as well. So, I mean, we're pretty much looking for it to come back down, which is what I anticipated to happen. Right here, just like Maddie said, we're looking for this to have a buy signal, so that if we get a high at some point, we can definitely write it back down for a sell, because we need that pending momentum the other direction. All right, Maddie. So here goes the, if we get a red signal right here, or a red candle, then this would technically be a V3, but it's pushing up higher, which is okay. As you can see, there's no clear direction here. So it's causing a lot of uncertainty as to like where price is going. So like, for example, here, if you took the buy earlier, so you know how it pushed up right on open? If you took the buy earlier, you would have gotten faked out for a buy. If you started to chase the sell here, you would have gotten faked out for a price to swing back up. As you can see, price is coming back up, and this blue line over here that I drew was opening price. So price might come up to this area and then it might bounce right off and come right back down. Or in the opposite, it can just break through and continue pushing higher. So there's a couple different scenarios that can play out here. I mean, we'll see what happens. If this candle here closes red, then this would be a sell variation. Right here. I'm just hoping it doesn't close too too far below, because if it's too low, it's going to be a bit risky, obviously. All right, we got about 20 seconds left on this candle right here. We'll see where this ends up going. So if it closes red, we could take this for a variation V3. All right. So I got to make some adjustments here. 25. See, I might have to put a wider TP can be at. This is on the 1 minute. See, TP's got to be right below this. There we go. Currently in profit right now. Somewhere there. 1 minute. Where is this? I might have to have a wider stop loss, guys, because this is kind of too tight of a move right here. I know a lot of people don't like doing a negative risk forward, but my stop loss is probably gonna have to be a bit higher. Around the 300 mark over here. I personally don't like having it up there, but with the volatility, if it starts to pick up a little bit, it might be a bit risky. So let's see what happens here. Make some adjustments right here as well. Price is super indecisive. So if it comes back down, if I do make any adjustments, then I will let you guys know. It's currently just bouncing around this area right here. I have my whole setup right here, pretty much set up like the trading view. And we'll see where it goes from here. Other than that, let's see if there's anything else for me to look at over here. Not really. So let's see what happens here. There's like a lot of spikes happening right here on the 1 minute. I'm going to move my stop loss and profit if it drops a little lower, guys. All right, move my stop loss in profit right over here. Stop loss is now in profit. I don't like how the market's moving right now. It's just moving too volatile. Fuck, it's stopping now. I think I moved it a little too early, but whatever, it's okay. The market is moving kind of erratic right now. So, for me to be on the safe side, usually I like it when it's moving a bit smoother, but right now it's just not moving that smooth at all. Yeah, I made a small profit. I made like I made how much did I make? $77 off that trade. So I didn't like Maddie here too. Maddie said didn't like how it was moving. Fahad here as well said it took me out in profit too, better than having a loss. Yeah, because the market is just moving very indecisive right now, guys. It's just usually on these 1 minute trades, you're going to see it either hit TP real quick or you're going to see it hit stop loss real quick, right? Oh, there you go. See, and it played out exactly how we would have anticipated. However, I mean, it's all good. You know, if we don't feel comfortable with the position, just like I said, if you don't feel comfortable with it, just pull out of the trade. Patricia as well. See, so if there's like a lot of people here who pulled out of the trade early, then it's you know, it's maybe a sign that, you know, you want to be a bit careful. But you can see the strategy still works perfectly fine. Full TP right there. So I'll give you guys a little nice. Matt said full TP. His fingers are shaking. Yeah, so a lot of you guys here, some of you guys held on. Some of you guys were okay with like holding on to it. Randy hit full TP, Orain hit full TP. So half and half, right? Some people got full TP, some people got partial, like me, Maddie, and a couple other people. But yeah, no, definitely. Exactly. Jason said no loss is a win. Yeah, some people got some partials. You know, sometimes in situations like this, guys, you guys just have to play your cards properly, right? If you guys don't feel confident about it, then the smartest decision is to just pull out and profit. I didn't feel confident about it, so that's why I moved my stop loss and profit early. If I probably held on to it, it'd been better, but it's okay. I still made profit off that trade. So here's the little update for that right here. It's only for about 250 pips, so not very much, but still a win. Either way. Nice work, guys. Kenny over here, he made 275. Great work right there, Kenny. I think a couple other people here locked in some cool profit too. Lisa over here currently up 126 for the day. She took a trade pre-market. For the day, actually, she's up 3,445. So great work right there, Lisa, off that trade. Kenny again right here, 275. Junior up 1,070 for the day. Nice work, Junior. Brock over here currently up 9,964. Right work, Brock. And now he's up 13,319. So he took that sell right there as well. He held on to it, hit his full TP. So great work right there, Brock. There's a couple other people here who posted profits as well. Joshua locked in a total of 1,089 for the day. Great work, Joshua. Jason over here too. Jason locked in the 10,000 for the day. Nice work, Jason. Great work right there, guys. Charles over here currently up 1,294 for the day. Nice work, Charles. Maddie over here locked in a total of 1,334 off this account, 520 off this account, 1,509 off this account, and 650 off this account. So a lot of slippage right there all around the board, which is okay. The market is moving kind of crazy. No entries available right now. I'll come back to the chart shortly, guys. Andreas over here locked in 3,255. Nice work, Andreas. Off that move there. Great work. Kenny over here, 275. Let's see. Cameron over here as well, 4,253. Nice work, Cameron. Stern over here as well, currently up 3,501 euros. So nice work, Stern. I see your message there, Stern. So I'll come back and get back to you after the live session. Narith over here currently up about 3,000 for the day. Great work, Narith. John over here currently up. He's down actually. He said had a rough night last night, but we'll make it back. So John took a loss last night, looks like, but wins this morning. So you're gonna make your way back, John. Just give it some time. Dell over here as well, locked in a total of 501 for the day. So nice work, Dell. Jason over here, 10,915, and then Matt over here at 4,189. Great work, Matt. All right, guys. So everyone here did pretty well off that trade there. We're gonna be looking for a possible entry for a sell. Again, let's see if there's anything else here. So there's a V3 right here, guys, but we have a sell signal right here, so we're not going to be taking it. We need a pending sell in order for us to hop into that sell right there. So no entry off this, even though it's a V3. It's not a complete V3. We need the pending momentum in that direction. But we're definitely looking for sells right now, guys. Nothing here off the 3-minute, nothing here off the 5-minute. Technically, there's a 5-minute that's still currently running. I don't know if you guys noticed this earlier, Maddie. But there's currently a one running right now, looks like. off this 5 minute. Oh, actually, no, sorry guys. There's nothing running there. There's no pending, but yeah, there's no pending sell. My bad, guys. Yeah, so you guys are right. Thanks for correcting me on that. So there was no entry there off the 5. There's no entry here off the 1. We're pretty much just waiting for price to pull back and then swing back down, which is probably going to happen. So we'll give it some time here. Yeah, so you guys are right. No entry off of any of these here. All right, guys, so we're gonna be careful. You can see prices kind of moving around, kind of iffy, right? Here on the 1 minute, price goes down, price goes up. There's no clear direction at all. High right there. Let me go over to the clean chart. It's gonna clean this up a little bit. I know things are a lot easier to see here on the clean chart because you guys can see where price is currently ranging and whatnot. So looking at this right here, let me just back out. As you guys can see right here, price isn't really doing too much. Market open right here. This is opening price. Price is now ranging within this area right here. If I zoom out a little further, you can see that price is there's a lot of ranges on the top side, a lot of ranges on the bottom side. With liquidity sitting up here, liquidity down here, but this is where price is currently ranging, right down the middle of these two price points over here. Yeah, exactly. Actually, is asking momentum is red on indicator. Why is the 5 minute not valid? It's not valid because the requirement right here requires that there needs to be a pending momentum in that direction. So if you're looking for a sell right here, actually, you need a sell to be coming after it. Right here, there's a pending buy, not a sell. So you're not looking to take any trades right there. In order for you to take this sell right here, you would need this to be a buy signal. There can't be any sells over here because that's the 4th requirement. You need a pending momentum in that direction. So no entry off that. So for example, here, if we have a buy signal that comes up and then we have a sell entry that comes after it, then that would be what we're looking for. But I think you might be a bit confused with these requirements here, actually, because I saw earlier you said that there was like the momentum was off on the 1 minute, but it was correct. I think you might be a bit confused with this requirement right here for the 4. So looking at this over here, I'm going to show you the trade that we took earlier. So the trade that we took earlier was right here. You know how it says we need a pending sell or a pending momentum in that direction? Right here, we have a pending momentum in that direction because the previous one was a buy. So it's pending because there's no sell signal yet. We're in a sell. So for this trade here, when price finally came down, there goes that pending sell that you were looking for. So I think you might be confused with that requirement there. There's a triple confluence right here, like Maddie said, but it's kind of risky because it's going against everything. So I'm not going to take that triple confluence right there, Maddie. The bias right now currently overall is still going to be a sell. Or it's starting to shift. So it looks like it's starting to shift, but it's coming right back down. But I wouldn't take it because even on the 10 minute here, it's still indecisive, but it's more so for a sell than a buy. And the candle's too big. Yeah, thanks, MJ, for that confirmation right there too. So going over here to retail sentiment, currently up 53% long. Fundamentals are currently, it's actually up to. So as you guys can see, the market is really choppy. The fundamentals are currently green. They're not very strong, but they are green. Looking over here at the stock index is pretty much half green, half red. There's no clear direction with regard to fundamentals. Retail sentiment is 53% long. It's indicating that retail traders are on the long side, but it's not very strong. Going over here to the technicals, you can see that price is it's trying to shift to the upside. So as we continue to follow this, and if price continues to push up higher, then bias will change from a sell to a buy. But currently right now, there's no bias at all. So this is at a point where you kind of want to be a bit careful with entering any trades, and you kind of just want to wait for some sort of confirmation until you hop into any buys or sells, because there's obviously no confirmation here at all. Yeah, Maddie said it might be a fake out to the upside, then come right back down. That's what I see too. Make some adjustments right here. All right, delete that. So pretty much for all the strategies here, guys, I know it doesn't say to confirm a bias, but I think that's just going to be a set in stone strategy for a set in stone requirement for all the strategies. Basically, you want to trade in some direction of bias. You don't want to be trading in both directions because you can get caught on the wrong side a lot of the times if you don't, if you don't handle that properly or carefully. Because price, like for today, with the jumpiness in price on Mondays, you can get caught on the wrong side a lot of the times. I mean, sure, you can get lucky and catch trades both ways, but your luck can only run so long until you get caught on the wrong side and then you get burned. So what I do recommend is for every trade, at least have some sort of bias. Yeah, like what Dejan said. Dejan said that's how I got caught last night. Because sometimes um, we get too confident, right? Like I know for the past couple months, we've been like super overly confident because we didn't have losses for like 5 months, right? I think from like, was it from like October until like January, we had like no losses, or not even October, before that, like September, I think. We had no losses and we just started taking more and more risk. Um, so I think learning from that, we have to be a bit more careful. We did make a lot of profit during that period, but um, that luck can only last for so long, especially if you don't have some sort of bias. You should definitely have a bias for a buy or for a sell and only trade in that direction. All right, guys. Looking here at the 1 minute, nothing available here. Oops. I'm just trying to see if price is going to shift to the upside so that we can change our bias, or if price is going to come back down. This is why you should always be actively looking at the chart. You can't just be looking at it for a few minutes and then not expect your bias to change, because it can easily change within a matter of seconds, right? Like say, for example, price is above here, price spikes below, like way down here, comes back up and comes back down, then bias is changed back for a sell. Vice versa, just kind of what happened right here as well. Price was down here. You see price spike all the way up here, retest, and push back up. This can change bias as well. So bias can change within a matter of minutes, matter of seconds, just like a short period of time. So you guys always have to be analyzing the chart to confirm that you're trading in the proper direction. And as you can see right here, price is coming all the way back down. Yeah, Patricia said market is crappy today, just like last Monday, no real direction. Yeah, no, I agree, Patricia, 100%. This is why we're being a bit careful. For days like this, guys, it's probably best to just be smart and not hop into anything risky, because it is going to be a bit difficult with determining what the what direction price is going. We're back at the clean chart. Let me just clean this up a little bit. All right, so here we are at the clean chart. You guys can see that the range just keeps pushing up a little bit. We're not just pushing up, but it pushes back and forth. This is where market opened at 630. You can see that there's no clear direction, right? Price comes down, price comes back up, price comes back down. No real direction as to a push to the upside or a push to the downside. Looking over here, price just continues to push down lower and lower. It's okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, Joshua said market is moving the same today as it did Monday following NFP week in December. Yeah, and that was a risky time to trade too, Joshua. I know that you remember that because we did see a lot of this weird market movement where there's just no clear direction. You can see how choppy the market is right here on the cleaner chart. So what we're generally looking for is for price to move smoothly, right? Price isn't moving smoothly at all. It's just going back and forth. It's ranging within this area and this area right here for the most part right now. But if you take a look at the bigger range, it's basically from up here to down here. So if I was to delete this right here, you can see how price is kind of just going back and forth. There's no clear direction to the downside, no clear direction to the upside. It just keeps bouncing back and forth. But our bias is still here for a sell, it looks like. So if we do get some variations for a sell, or even maybe even a triple confluence, if we see one, we can hop into it. But yeah, right now I don't really see any of that. Confirming. Let's see. Jonathan said, I like the addition of waiting for momentum with the V3. It helps a lot. He made the same change to the 10-minute snipe strategy, making sure price was trending in the same direction. Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. It does help a lot when you guys have some sort of bias and some sort of confirmation as to like where price is probably going to be pushing. Thanks, Talanji. Talanji said V3 on the 5-minute. Let me check real quick. It's a huge candle though, so I don't know if I would take this right here. This is a V3 though. Yeah, it passes the limit. So our cap for the TP stop loss right here would have to be 750 pips. It'll probably hit, but well, or actually, yeah, right, Anton. So Anton's right. Thanks, Anton, for confirming that. No, it's the same thing that we saw earlier. There's no momentum signal in that direction. So yeah, definitely no entry off the 5 right there. Thanks, Anton, for confirming that. Thanks, Talanji, too, for confirming that as well. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. A lot of us are, I feel like a lot of us are antsy right now. Everyone kind of just wants to hop into a trade. But, you know, the best thing to do right now is probably to be patient and wait for a better confirmation. So, yeah, guys, thanks for all help. Thanks to everybody for helping us out with these confirmations here. It's helping a lot so that we don't just hop into trades for no reason and then get into a bad trade, because you can see right here price is like bouncing around. Back to the 1 minute over here, nothing here, nothing here as well. Nothing off the 3-minute too. Yeah, no, exactly. Anton said using the pivots as bias today worked out good. Just say, yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's something that we have to start using, guys, as the market starts to get more choppier. Because before, the market was just moving back and forth a lot smoother. Like you get a straight push to the upside or a straight push to the downside. It was easy to just take trades in both directions. But since volatility is kind of low today, it's you know, obviously it's gonna be a lot easier for us to just trade in one direction. So if we get a sell candle right here, or red candle, this would be a V3. The only problem with this is that it's going to be too tight of a move. So I don't think I would take this trade here, guys. We generally want it to be at least 300 to 400 pips. So if it's too small, we might not take this. This is just too the problem with taking a trade that's too tight like this is that it can easily hit your stop loss before coming down. So I'll follow it, but I don't think, yeah, it doesn't look like a trade that we're going to be able to take because it's just too tight of a range. We want the TP stop loss to be a bit wider. Yeah, so I'm not going to take this. I'll mark it up and we'll see if it hits, but I'm not taking the stop loss is just way too close. Yeah, it's too tight. We generally want the stop loss to be a bit wider, like 300 or 400 pips. It's just too close here because if your spread's wide, odds are you're probably gonna get you're gonna get kicked out. So just gotta wait for another entry, unfortunately. Volatility is really low today. I thought it was gonna be a bit higher, but it is moving really slow. Volume's super low at the moment. I was expecting there to be some sort of push, but yeah, not at all. Nice, yeah. So Anton over here, he's been using the pivots as a bias. You can see right here, he sees when he has these entries over here where it bounces off the pivot and he gets like these really nice TPs here. So great work right there, Anton, for identifying that. Yeah, also Patricia said, Sean, we're also inside of a big bullish order block. Gotcha, okay. Yeah, so this would be risky on all sides of the table. For one, the stop loss TP is a little too close. For two, the bias isn't really set in stone. There's no clear direction. Maddie also said that the range is getting tighter. So yeah, we definitely get prepared for a breakout at some point. Let me just see if there's any other. Yeah, so price is starting to squeeze right here, it looks like. So as price continues to squeeze, what's to come next is probably going to be a breakout in one direction or the other, probably for a sell. Looks like that 1 minute would have hit TP right there. You know, as I was mentioning before, guys, it was too tight of a move, but it did hit pretty nicely. All right, let's see. So as you can see right here, guys, price went down, hit TP, and then swung right back up. So if you guys are taking these trades on the 1 minute, like even if I say that they're risky, because I know there's a lot of you guys who are still taking these trades, even though I'm telling you guys that it's risky, and it's fine because it does hit TP. You guys got to remember to set your TP. And you got to pull out when it's time to pull out. Because if you guys got greedy here, price would have swung right back up. So just an FYI to a lot of the riskier traders here in K2. I know some of you guys do really trust my analysis and you guys just take every single trade, which is fine, but you got to remember to not get greedy and to pull out and profit when you need to, because it already hit TP right here. But if you held on to it, it would have faked out right back to the upside. So, and this is fine right here because we have liquidity sitting here on the bottom now. So if price comes back down, it'll hit liquidity and then possibly drop even further. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm just going to move this a little lower. There. Nothing off the 1, nothing off the 3, nothing off the 5, nothing off the 10. There's a couple of snipes here that came up earlier, looks like. But yeah, I mean the market in general is looking kind of risky. Let me see if there's any 630s right here. So if we get a daily here, it looks like it'll be a buy. So what might happen throughout the day is if price continues to move sideways, I think later on for the mid-market reversal, it will be swinging to the upside. So later push to the upside if we get that buy signal there before 9:30. And as you guys can see here, price is now pushing right back up. So back to what we were saying earlier, no direction at all, right, guys? Price is pretty much just going back and forth. Price dropped right here on open. Came back up. Dropped back down. And then here it is going right back up. So price just goes back and forth, back and forth. No clear direction, just a back and forth movement here. Yeah, and Maddie said it's probably going back to opening price. We should be right there. Yeah, Charles said price is moving like it's Friday. Let's see, Talanji said a 3-minute daily. Yeah, so there was a 3-minute daily right there. But like I mentioned earlier, Talanji, I think from now on, well, one of the requirements for every strategy is going to be trading with a bias. For that one right there, we wouldn't have taken that because the bias was for a sell. So that would have saved you from taking that buy there, right? Because the bias overall on the other time frames was a sell on open. Well, I mean, pretty much all morning it's been a sell. So if you were using that bias, you wouldn't have taken this here for a buy, and you would have avoided that, possible loss. So I think definitely we're going to be using that as a requirement for everything, not necessarily for the variations, but we're going to be using it for pretty much everything because we don't want to lose trades here, guys, right? I forgot. I was watching this documentary yesterday, or not this documentary, but these videos. And there was this one big investor, I forgot what his name was, but one thing that he said was like, the easiest way to get rich at trading is to not lose. And he's right. If you don't lose, you just keep stacking up. I know a lot of people like going for the big profits and stuff, but if you just don't lose, your account will just keep growing. That's usually what we do here anyway. So that's something to always keep in mind, guys. Just your main focus should be to not lose. Instead of going for like those huge profits, because I see a lot of people go for those huge profits and they just keep losing, and it's just a matter of time until they're out of money. They can't trade anymore. But if you focus on risk management, not losing, you guys should be perfectly fine. Let's see, V3 pending. Yeah, possible V3 over here, Maddie, for the 1 minute. But one thing that I'd be careful of is that yeah, exactly. Maddie said I would wait to see how price reacts. That's exactly what I'm waiting for too. Because the thing right here, Maddie, is that it's so far above that it's kind of shifting the bias on the technical side. So price is kind of shifting to the upside right here. But let's see, retail sentiment's currently 52% long. Fundamentals are currently bullish. So yeah, the bias right now is actually shifting to a buy, but it's not very strong. So it might not hold up for that long. Jonathan's asking if it was Buffett. So it was, Buffett did say something kind of similar to that, but it was somebody else. He was referring to Buffett actually, because like, I don't remember who said it, but they were talking about how like the stock market is kind of dropping right now. And oh, it was Grant Cardone. Duh. I was like, because I don't know if you guys know who Grant Cardone is, but Grant Cardone is one of my mentors. He was actually referring to Buffett, how like long-term investments work and stuff. But if the market crashes, then obviously you get blown out. But like for us, we don't hold the stuff for long term. We just get in and out pretty quickly, and we just don't lose. So yeah. Anton said shitty V3. So I wouldn't have taken the sell right here either way, guys, because the bias right now is for a buy, similar to what we were looking at earlier. So as I mentioned, just like, a few seconds ago, I mentioned that the fundamentals here were a buy. Retail sentiment's not going to be a use right now, but for the most part, the technicals here are all bullish, right? So the 1 minute here is bullish, 3 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, and the 10 minute is, partially bullish as well. So this is why I wouldn't be taking any trades right now, guys, because the shift might be back to the upside. If price starts to shift to the upside, this can come down, create a variation for a buy, and then come right back up. So I'm looking for a possible variation for a buy here because the bias is changing. So if we get a variation to the upside, then I'll take that because the bias is obviously switching back to the upside now. Here's a clean chart. You can see that there still is no clear direction. Price is kind of just bouncing around. The range just got a bit wider. Right over here. Here's the range for the high, and here's range for the low. But yeah, if we get variations for a buy here, the bias is now shifting to a buy because you can see price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Looking up here at the 3 minute, same situation. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is not green yet, but it will be shifting as price continues to push up higher. Lastly, here on the 5 minute, same thing. Price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green. And lastly, here on the 10 minute, it's not set in stone yet, but price is above the pivots. If this closes above here in the next 50 seconds, then the bias is going to be shifting to a buy. So we will be looking. Talanji also confirmed that the daily is pending right now as well. However, one thing that I'd be careful for is that there's sessions all over this whole area right here, Talanji. So if you were to take this as the daily, one thing that you want to be careful for is going to be this Asia high right here. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said getting close to a session too. So that's something that you guys want to be careful for because when price reaches this point, one of two things can happen. Price will either bounce up or break right through. So it's right there. One of two things will happen. Price will either bounce right off it or it'll break through it and continue pushing up to full TP. So you guys want to be a bit careful. All right, so the candle did close right here. For the daily, I'm not in it. Maybe I'll enter late, but I think currently right now I'm just going to hold off on it because, like I mentioned earlier, guys, it's right at the session, so it's not going to be a smooth push to the upside. Yeah, it's literally right there at the sessions, so I'm definitely not playing with it. I'll be looking for any possible other entries here, but it's literally right at the sessions right there. So what I might do is if I find an entry on the shorter time frames, I will probably try to write it up higher. Yeah, possible B3 over here. If this, or actually there's not going to be, Patricia, because the pending momentum right here is for, this is fine. So if this closes below here, then, but there's no pending buy signal here. So unfortunately, no, it's very tricky. Solange said tricky ass day. There's a lot of red flags here. So like Patricia did identify this as a possible B3. However, the problem with this right here, or actually no, Patricia said it's a B3 sell. I know there's a possible B3 sell right there, but since my bias now is for a buy, I'm not going to be looking for any sells at the moment. So Patricia was right with identifying that, but it's not one that I would personally take. I think the range here is going to be a bit tight too. Yeah, it's only like 150 pips. So I wouldn't have taken it. It's too small of a stop loss. And there he goes. Price breaks above here. It is now breaking above opening price. There's a daily, but I'm not going to take it yet because it's right at the session. So what I'm looking for is possible entry on the shorter time frames. And then if it closes above here, then I'll just hold on to it for a bigger push. What a wacky market today, huh? I'm gonna delete this stuff, guys. Sorry, I'm just gonna clean it up because I don't like having a messy chart. But we are looking for possible buys here. And if we do get a buy, we can just hold it longer because we have the daily here that is running, obviously. This would have been a V3, but we don't have the pending buy right here. So unfortunately, we didn't catch that, but it's all about being safe today. And it's all right, guys. If you guys don't catch any good trades today, obviously you guys, we have all week. It's just Monday. The market's barely open, so, and the market is risky today. So I think tomorrow there's no news, right? Yeah, no news tomorrow. So we might have a better opportunity to hop into trades tomorrow when the market's kind of smoothed out a little bit. Yeah, Sisu said I didn't move it fast enough, was trailing up. Yeah, no big push to the upside right here, guys. This is why you guys want to be always alert and engage with the market. So huge push to the upside. There goes the daily right there. It's pushing up. It would have hit TP1 already. So TP1 would have been right there. TP1 would have been hit. TP2 would have been hit. It's on its way to full TP. So even though it was a risky trade, it still played out perfectly fine. As you guys can see, we did analyze pretty much a lot of trades here that were considered risky, and they all pretty much hit. It's all good. This thing pushed up super heavy. It hit all these areas of liquidity, that's why. So as you guys can see right here, it hit liquidity right here. Pushed up. Hit liquidity again right here. Pushed up. And then hit liquidity right here. And I've had these lines drawn up since like 6:30. So an hour ago, I drew these lines here. And then it just kind of played out how we anticipated. That's why these lines are very important, these liquidity areas, because you guys can see when price does break through them, they really do break through them like pretty hard. I wonder what caused it to push up like that. That. Thanks, Kyle. Kyle said Boeing. Damn, this thing went up crazy. It's now up 131 points. Refreshing this right here. Yeah, well, Boeing went up slightly. It's up 4 points. So Boeing is pretty much carrying the entire index right now because everything here is less than a point. Boeing is up almost 5 points right there, up super heavy. Yeah, no. One good push up super heavy right there. Thanks, Kim. Kim said there's a pending V3 on the 1. V2. Yeah, so again, right here, guys, there's 2 pending variation. Well, there's a pending V1 and, well, not pending, it's now a V2 and a V3, but I'm not going to take it because it's going against the bias. But yes, this would be an entry here for a V2 and also a V3. So you guys are both correct in identifying that there. But I wouldn't have taken it because it's going against the trend or the bias. Right here, basically the technical bias is for a buy. So I wouldn't be taking this here. However, this would technically be an entry if you're using the original, strategies without the bias. So I'm not in this position, guys. I don't recommend anyone enter into this position. Also, this TP stop loss is too tight. It's only 210 pips. We generally want it to be about 300 or 400, like something like that. But yeah, nice. Dejan actually took it and he made 390 off it. So he went for a quick little push there. So yeah, guys, I'm only looking for bias here. I'm going to try to remind you guys every day that we're going to be using a bias for every single trade. Because because we just don't want to get caught in any of these risky trades, right? Last thing I want to do is for you guys to take risky trades and put like your full confidence in these risky trades and possibly lose, right? I don't want anybody here to be losing. I want everybody here to be winning and to be consistent with your wins. So all the trades that I'm taking are only going to be trades that I'm like almost 100% sure are going to hit. Randy said, Deshaun, you're learning from Rick, right? Yeah, so I'm looking for a buy here, guys, because it goes against the bias here. Let's see. All right, so there really isn't much for us to take right now. There's just, I mean, the market's kind of slow, kind of died down a bit. John said, I'm trying to go slow and steady and pass so I can go to Disneyland like Sean, right, John? Charles said possible 5-minute V2 and V3 if you're feeling risky. Let me check. Yeah, no, I wouldn't take it. Only looking for buys right now. Currently, the that push up was pretty strong. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to clean this up a bit. This liquidity is already hit, so I'm going to take all these off. We have this one over here. And we got, I'm going to take these off too. We got this one right over here as well. All right. So all the liquidity up top got hit. Now price is looking like it's probably going to range for a bit right here. Let's see. Henry's asking, with bias, is it at 51% will make your decision one way or the other, or does bias have to be over 55 to make your decision one way or the other? So I'm assuming you're referring to retail sentiment, Henry. Bias doesn't really switch over until it's like heavy on one side. 55% is not going to be enough for it to be heavy on one side. In order for it to be heavy on one side or the other, it has to be like over 65%. So it's not necessarily going to indicate whether, because the thing is, if it's 55% long, it can easily switch back to 55% short, right? That's a 10% change with retail traders. So it's not going to make a big difference if it's within the 50s. It has to be above. Preferably, it'd have to be above like 70%. So 70% long or 70% short, that'll give you a stronger bias as to where everyone's trading. And we have that sometimes, right? When the market's really going one direction, it would indicate that. But for here, this isn't really going to indicate much because people can switch from both sides within a matter of minutes. You can see how this has changed all throughout the session. It went from 50 to 51 to 54 to 55, and then now it's back to 52. So it doesn't make a difference at all. In order for you to have a strong bias for retail sentiment, you need this to be above at least 60, 65 better, but preferably over 70. That would be where you want it to be. Going over to the fundamentals, fundamentals are back to 54 points, not very much. And here you can see price came back down, and you can see exactly where price bounced off, right? This is opening price right here. So this line that I drew right there, price bounced right off opening price for the New York Stock Exchange. So right there, opening price. It's right in between opening price and the sessions. So we'll see what happens here. Let's see. So Anton said 5-minute V3 would have banged, but no confluence to back it up. So let's see. Yeah, what up, huh? Yeah, if we're using this how we originally were applying it, this would have been an entry here. But now that we're, kind of being smart about our trades here, obviously we want it to be going in the direction of confluence. This wouldn't have been an entry that we taken today. If this was an entry we took last month, yeah, this would have been one that we would have taken for sure. But we got to be a bit more careful. You got to be smart about the trades you take. You got to be focused on not losing. That's always going to be key here. DeJohn's asking if it wicks off these pivots, would that add more confluence? Yeah, it could. It can be indicating that price would just be bouncing off this area again, because you can see right here that price is wicking off both the pivot and also the session. So if that becomes the case, price can easily just bounce right off and shoot right back up. And yeah, as you can see right here, where price bounced off of is the opening price. So, I mean, there's a lot of different confluences you guys can use. Obviously the more the better, but there's going to be some here that are a bit more obvious than others. So Madri is asking, so only bias, even if there happen to be multiple strategies going opposite. Yeah, for the most part, I'm probably just gonna be taking trades with bias. I mean, you guys are welcome to trade the older way with no bias. But just keep in mind that those trades are going to be riskier, and probability of getting caught in a loss is going to be a lot higher. So, I mean, you just got to be smart about your trades, right? Like if you guys want to be risky, you can take trades in both directions, but obviously you want to be very smart about the trades you take. Because the thing is, like, say for example, if you win like 10 trades a week, right, and they're all wins, your profit's gonna be a lot more if you have 5 wins and 5 losses, right? So just trying to add some logic to it. I know some people like to trade riskier though, so it's okay if you guys are okay with that. But for me personally, I like to oh fuck, I just missed this trade here. I didn't realize there was a 1 minute. It's okay. It was right at the sessions though. So I wouldn't have taken it anyways, specifically because it was at the sessions, but I just realized that there was a V3 right here for a buy. It's all good. It's just risky because it's right at the sessions though. So yeah, I think Rab did say that there was an entry right there. I think a couple people actually said, but it is risky because it's right at the sessions right here. I do think it'll probably push up higher. You'll catch the last push of it. So we'll see where it's at right here. So yeah, that would be a V3. Yeah, we'll just try to catch the last bit of it when it gets to the top right there. Let me check the news real quick. So there was news at 7:45, but it wasn't US news. It was European news. So I don't think it's necessarily going to affect the US30 all that much. So there was news, but it's not US news. It's ECB. Unless there's something else that I don't know about. That could be it too. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this trade over here pushes up. What I might do is if price pushes up higher, I might just try to catch that last push up there. When it's almost to the top. Or maybe I'll get in for late entry. Let me see where it's currently at. I do want it to, if it comes back down, then maybe I'll get in for late entry. But I think for now, I'm probably just going to wait a little bit. I don't like following into trades. Obviously, you guys know that. So price is kind of just going back and forth around this area. I'll see where it goes. If it comes back to opening, then maybe I'll enter it. If it pushes up higher, then I'll probably just enter when there's like last push right here. Because the volatility is kind of low right now. So I don't want to enter a trade all late and then get caught up in this. Oh man, what a weird market today. So if we get another variation right here, then maybe I'll hop into the next one. But yeah, market right now is going to trash. All right, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, and it's right at the sessions too. So one of the things that I mentioned before, guys, is that if you guys have been following, for the past couple of weeks, whenever there's entries that are near the sessions, I just avoid them completely. Because every time I take a variation and it's right near the sessions, like even if it's passed above it, it sometimes hits stop loss because for whatever reason, this becomes an area, or not whatever reason, but you guys know exactly why it becomes an area of manipulation, because a lot of people are betting that price is either going to go above or below these price points. So I'm not going to mess with the trade here because it's right at the sessions. I'll watch it and I'll see, but I'm not going to enter the trade. I'll just see where it goes from here. Yeah, exactly. D said it turns into a gamble when it's near the sessions. I agree, because price will tend to go one way or the other. So what I'll do here is I'll probably just wait for it to push up. If it pushes up, or there might be another entry here actually for another V3. So maybe I'll enter this V3 here. Never mind, there's no V3 there. I was going to see if there was going to be another V3. If this was a green candle, it would be, but there wasn't. See what happens here. And market is just kind of dead at this point. It's not really moving. Let's see how far this range is pushing. It's only pushing about 100 to 200 pips, not very much at all. All right. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't enter this trade here. This would have gave me, this would have stressed me out if I was in this trade. Possible, no, or maybe, no, actually that wouldn't be. I was saying possible V3 or maybe even V1, but nothing there. All right, so no entry off this. I'm trying to see if there's, what might happen here is there might be another V3 that comes up below here, and then it'll just skyrocket it all the way back up. And you can see right there, it is coming right back up. It's bouncing off the pivot right here. But it's still at the session. So like I was mentioning earlier, guys, it's still around the sessions area, which makes it risky. I tend to want it to be like far out from it, like either above here or below here, but never like around the area. There he goes. Price pushes up higher. Let's see if I try to catch it, or a little push there. I entered too early. I was trying to wait for it to push up above here and then catch the little push up. I'm only going for like 100 pips, so it's not very much. And it's not full lot size. I should have went for full lot size. It's all right. So we'll see if it pushes up above here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep moving my stop loss and profit though as it pushes up higher. This is not something that I recommend people like. If you guys know what I'm doing here, then yeah, do it. But if not, then obviously you want to be a bit careful. So let's see. This is for what is it? A V3. Yeah, V3. I think this is it. 300 pips. Not a huge amount, but just want to make sure everything's kind of lined up right. Where's this thing at? Probably should internet earlier when it was like at entry, but I was just trying to catch the last push of it. My TP is actually a lot closer than where the normal TP is, because I entered when it was like below. Because I'm only going for like 100 pips right here, and I entered somewhere around that area. So when it pushes up, I'm gonna move my stop loss in profit, or I'll try to trail it somehow. Let's see if there's anything else here for me to look at. There really isn't much. Here on the clean chart, let me see if there's any other high lows. Actually, a couple. Looks like there's a lot of liquidity on the bottom side too, so something to be careful and look out for. Going over to the 10-minute over here. The 10 minutes actually right at the sessions too. It came down and then bounced around that area. So you can see that the sessions is having an effect on like a lot of these other trades here too. Like this is a daily from today. It's bouncing off the sessions as well. Here's a 5-minute. Run the pivots on here. So as you can see, all of the candles here are all bouncing off the same point, or they're all like around that area. It's bouncing off the pivots and the sessions right there. 5-minute, 3-minute, same situation. It's not necessarily bouncing off it, but it is around that area too. And the 1-minute here, it's still kind of just around that area. So let's see, it's 7:55 right now, guys. It's getting close to 8. So once it hits 8, I'm usually done for the day. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. There's no current active trades that are running that are official right now. There's a couple speculative trades that are running, obviously. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. If we don't have anything today, then I think we'll be wrapping up the session up shortly as it gets closer to 8. Let me check my calendar real quick to see when the mentoring session will be. The mentoring session will either be today or it'll be tomorrow. So let me just put that in the group real quick. Let's see if anyone wants to have it today or tomorrow. So let's see. A2 group mentoring session today, February 7 at 2 p.m. Pacific, or Tuesday, February 8 at 2 p.m. Pacific. All right, guys, I'm going to put this over here in the group, and then you guys can vote for whether you guys want it today or tomorrow. Let's see, I don't mind having it today, so let's put it there. So it's up to you guys, whichever day you guys want, we can hold it. Wherever majority votes, we'll hold it that day. But scrolling up real quick, so let's see. There's a couple people here who posted the profits. Patrick, he's currently up 5,030 for the day. Nice work, Patrick. So great work off that. Patrick over here as well, up 6,037. Nice work, Patrick, off that as well. And then his other account right here, 7,130. So amazing work right there across the board, Patrick, for your accounts. Hey, Johnson, stopped account offer today. So we'll see what people want. For the session today, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, let's see. We got Sisu over here with 11,000 for the day. Nice work, Sisu, killed it. Brock over here currently up. Wow, what the hell is this? Oh, it's history. Yeah. So this is all of his trades, or I don't know if this is just today or all of his trades, but Barack currently up 59,000. I don't know if this is like your total history or just for today or for the week or for the month or whatever. But great work right there, Barack, across the board. So amazing profits right there, whether it be your profits for the day or for the week or for the month, still great. Dijon is clawing his way back up. So he was like negative 800 from last night, and he's made his profits way back up over here. Other than that, see Maddie over here, he made 650 off this account. Nice work, Maddie. And then his other account, he locked in 1,509. Nice work off that too, Maddie. And then his third account right here, 4,500. So great work across the board right there, Maddie, with all your accounts. Jermaine over here, Jermaine was in the negative for a bit, but he made it right back, clawed his way right back as well. He's currently up 190, but nice work right there with the recovery, Jermaine. I know it's tough, man, like when you get into a hole like that, but if you stay consistent, you know, that's how you you bounce right back. I think that's it for a lot of these over here. Let me see if there's anything else here. Kyle right here as well. Kyle's currently up 850 off this account. Nice work, Kyle. And then his other account over here currently up 2,360. So great work across the board here, across everyone's profits actually. Kyle's up pretty heavy, up about 850 off his first account, 2,300 off his other account. But yeah, everyone did pretty good. So if you guys have more profits to send in, go ahead and send them over and I'll add them to the list. It looks like for right now, there's only 18 votes, guys. So there's about like 100 of you guys here in the Zoom. So if you guys want to join this mentoring session, just vote to see what day. I'll keep this poll up for about the next 2 hours. So by 10, we'll determine whether the mentoring session will be today or tomorrow. It doesn't matter for me, whichever we have the majority, I'll host it. But yeah, just come ready with questions, guys. So if you guys have questions, you know, just write your questions down and then we can answer them in detail once we have the mentoring session later. If you guys are still in that 1 minute from earlier, it's still running right now. It's just kind of bouncing around the area for whoever's in it, but it's not really doing much. So I think that's it for now. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's it for now. Yeah, guys. So if you guys have questions, you know, feel free to reach out through email or Telegram, whatever you guys prefer. You know, just one thing to keep in mind is that the market is kind of iffy today. So you guys want to be a bit careful. Don't try and take anything too risky, especially if you have no bias. You know, one key takeaway from this session is to always have a bias. Don't trade both directions unless you're like really confident. Just try to have one bias. So if you're looking for buys, just look for buys. If you're looking for sells, just look for sells. Looking over at retail sentiment, it's currently not changed very much. 51% long, not much has changed there. Looking at fundamentals, currently 79 points in the green, 81 points actually. Price is starting to push back up. And for the technicals over here, I mean, there's not really much going on either. It doesn't look bullish, but not really much going on. See, one question from Madjui. Madjui said, if you had one piece of advice to give to a brand new trader, what would it be? I would say not to give up. You know, a lot of people give up on trading too early, like Maddie. You know, Maddie came to me as a brand new trader, and you guys know Maddie because Maddie's been part of K2 for a while now. You know, he was going to give up after trading for like 6 months, and then on his 7th month, he passed all of his challenges and got funded like on everything. So his turning point was like, because he messaged me, he was like, bro, I don't think this is for me. And I was like, well, if it's not for you, then it's cool. You know, it's just not for you. But then he just kept going. And then you know, his turning point was like right then and there. And he was not expecting it at all. So yeah, one of the things is like, don't give up, especially if you're brand new. Just keep practicing because you're not going to get this right away. Also, like what Kyle over here said, he said, you know, don't FOMO and don't over leverage. That's key as well. Because what I see a lot of new traders do is they FOMO into trades, they enter trades that aren't even there, or they over leverage and they blow their accounts, or they end up taking, you know, a bigger loss than they should have. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, exactly. Kyle also said, in patience, let the market come to you, wait for your setups. And that's what we're doing here, guys. So that's exactly what I'm trying to incorporate here, right? We're trading with a bias. So we're not trading both ways, forcing trades. We're waiting for a bias and then we're trading in that direction. So another thing to keep in mind, just like what Christopher said, patience, it's not a get rich quick scheme. Exactly. And what Anton said here too, Anton said, make rules and don't break them. So that's why we have strict rules here for all of our strategies, because we make sure that they all fit and we don't sway from any of them. Like if the requirements don't meet, then there's no entry. But if you have a requirement there that you follow and you follow every single time, like for us, for example, we use a bias. So first there's a bias. We look at retail sentiment, we look at fundamentals, we look at technicals. Then after that, we look at the actual entry and we make sure that those requirements are met. So having requirements and trading without emotion is going to be very key with being successful at trading long term. Other than that, and yeah, Maddie said as well, you gotta identify where your weak points are and fix them, obviously. And yeah, just like what D said here as well. D said mine would be learn strategies and don't be a signal taker. No, I agree with that too. That's why we cut off signals in K2. I know my signals were good because obviously I was giving out the trades that I was taking, but the key thing is to actually learn the skill and be good at it. So I think other than that, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Looks like our mentoring session will probably be tomorrow, it looks like. So other than that, guys, I'll see you guys either today if we have the mentoring session, if not tomorrow for the next live session.